You're watching the primetime newscast in the English language on Canal International. Thanks for joining us. My name is Gladys Ambudiban. Stay tuned for our major stories. Kicked off nationwide for the 2022-2023 academic year this Monday, September 5, 2022, as people, students and teachers in the southwest regions of Cameroon have equally braved the odds to begin the new school year. On this ghost town Monday, it was also a day the Minister of Secondary Education, Nalova Lyonga, used to call on educational stakeholders to minimize all forms of violence this academic year, as she inaugurated a Help Life Center at the disposal of students and parents to address issues of psychological trauma. And in this edition of the newscast, we shall meet internally displaced students in some schools in Douala who have started the school year effectively thanks to the assistance of the school administrations that give them special consideration to permit them study like other students. Those were our major stories. Stay tuned for developments. Thanks for joining us on the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. Classes have been very effective on this first day of the 2022-2023 academic year in the Fudi division in the central region of Cameroon. Governor Nasseri Paul Biya and team expressed satisfaction with the 80% attendance rate of pupils, students and people, but questioned the reason for the 20% absent, and this was the focus of the public-private visits in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, today. Beatrice Gamo with more on the story.
The visit of Central Regional Governor Nasseri Paul Biya started here at the government's bilingual primary school, Tous. The exchange that followed, one of the pupils finally pronounced the name of the governor. The discussion flowed. Class 6 is a class for common entrance and first school leaving certificate exams.
You have to start from the first stage.
GHS Chinga, not far off the next stop. Here also, the students were in class following the lessons of the day. Lecture days and time clearly spelled out by some of the teachers, alongside associated textbooks and material. Here, digital learning is also effective. At GTHS Yaoundé 2, Madagascar neighborhood, the scenario the same. Face mask in class, the other in almost all the schools visited. Like the governor, even the SO is not known by some school children. Being a good citizen, students, attendance very effective in schools visited on this first day of the 2022-2023 academic year.
At least 80% of the student population were present, and about 80% of the teachers too were there.
The last stop here at a private nursery and primary school. Nasseri Paul Biya left with this instruction that the list of absentees be reported in order to know why.
And we want to encourage the students and the teachers to put their hands on deck to be sure that they carry on the activities of this academic year to the end, so that at the end of it, our region will always be the first.
Zero tolerance to any fooling around, as school is time to study. This goes with responsible behavior needed for a successful academic year.
I will take you to the southwest heat crisis area where the traditional Monday ghost town has been observed. But in some urban towns, teachers, pupils and students have braved the odds and resumed classes on this first day of the new school year. Ines Ondwambala with more.
This 5th of September 2022 marks the beginning of a new school calendar in Cameroon. In the southwest region, ghost town is usually observed on Mondays. It is the case of Muyuka in Fako Division, Menji in the Bialem Division, and in some part of Meme and Kupemwanengumba, Manu and Dian divisions. In Boya and Limbe, this morning, classes have effectively started in dormitory schools like the Bishop Rogan College, PCSS, PGSS, Baptist High College, CKC, Ripacol, St. Anne, Seka Baptist College, just to name these few. If in the above-mentioned school, teachers and students all answered present this day, it is worth noting that day school like the Balingua Grammar School, Buya, JHS Bokwango, and GBHS Limbe, the back to school is not effective. The administrative and teaching staff of the school institution are still in the school campus waiting on students who are still dragging their legs. Some parents are still finalizing school fees for their kids. At the Government Technical High School, Buya, and GBHS Buya Town, teachers and students braved the oath this first day of the school reopening.
I've studied physics.
Southwest Governor Benao Kaliabilai went visiting school institution to make an appraisal of the beginning of the school resumption.
Our sons and daughters, our children are there. They are joyful. They are happy to come back to school. The parents, the teachers, everybody is mobilized. And we want to congratulate all the stakeholders from the administration of the school, the regional delegate of secondary education, all the staff, the principals who have mobilized to make this first day of the new academic year a successful day.
A vibrant call to all those who are still left behind to join the train of education for a successful 2022-2023 school year.
And in Douala, internally displaced students have kicked off the new school year on a good footing. Though many of them have decried years spent without going to school, they have, however, expressed satisfaction with the reception and assistance they have received from their school administrations. Let's have their reactions of some of these internally displaced in this report.
As early as 6 a.m., Tasakwen Namata, an internally displaced from Ikondo Titi in the southwest region, had already prepared his children for school.
It's not really easy for this back to school, as you see us preparing my children with my wife. How do we even have the money? We used to have small money through small NGOs that used to give us small gifts. We have not even bought exercise books, whatever that is needed, but at least we just want them to go to school.
From Government Balingua High School, Sodiko Village, to Government Balingua Technical High School, Bonamatumbe, and Atlanta Balingua Comprehensive High School in the Douala 4 subdivision, most of the internally displaced students we met had similar problems. They have been for 4 years without going to school as a result of the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions.
I've been down for close to 4 years without going to school. So my parents decided that I should come this way, since our school is going this way effectively. Yeah, we go to school normal.
When the war started with basketball, so they always should go and kill civilized people. So before now, I left now from basketball. I want now to Douala, yes, come and school in Douala.
There are some kids out there that don't go to school. There are some kids that are even pregnant. Some are dead because of this war. So I came here so that I can learn.
Schools were interrupted, so I needed to further my studies ahead. So I decided to come here now to further my studies.
When I came here, they received me very well and gave me things that can help me in my studies. And I'm very happy with it.
To ensure these internally displaced students have the right to education just like others, these school administrations give them special consideration.
The minister said that those who are coming from those areas should have at least a particular attention, should be given a particular attention. So we always receive them. All what we need is to give some instruction, some information concerning them. Their names, if there is a birth certificate, we also welcome it. If it's not there, we still admit all of them.
We had to reduce fees for most of them when we noticed that they came from the northwest and the southwest. And then with others, we gave them extra exercise books to help them with their school needs.
After spending years without going to school, they are tested upon arrival to ensure they are admitted in the right classes that match their capacities. Classes have effectively started in these schools with massive attendance of the internally displaced students who are hoping to succeed in flying colors by the end of the school year.
And a helpline center has been put at the disposal of parents and students to address issues of psychological trauma and actions that can generate violence. The digital unit was inaugurated this Monday by the Minister of Secondary Education, Nalova Lyonga, while sending across a clarion call for educational stakeholders to minimize all forms of violence this academic year. Hyacinth Shia tells us more.
Students in different schools across Cameroon produced unbelievable cases of violence during the last academic year, some stabbing their own teachers, while others rough-handling their friends. And as the school year begins this September 5th, the story may be different with the coming of the Helpline Center to address the psychological needs of the students.
Most of the students are traumatized. They don't have someone to talk to. And by the time they repressed these feelings, it gets explosive with a trigger. So the call center has come to solve most of this problem.
Inaugurating the center in Yaoundé this day, the Minister of Secondary Education, Nalova Lyonga, urged the students and parents to open up to the experienced guidance counselors for appropriate solutions to their problems.
Students can see that we have anticipated the fact that they have problems, and when they have problems, there's a place where they can go to have their problems solved. A student who cannot speak to the parents at home should come and speak to us in the privacy that the call line offers.
Aside the psychological needs, the unit here at the Distance Educational Center provides orientations on education and career issues.
How do they prepare for exams? Note-taking skills, time management. We see the situation in our country. There are so many graduates without a job. Who help these students in choosing the series? Nobody. Who help these children in choosing the field in which they want to study? Probably nobody. So they find themselves making wrong decisions that are not informed.
And for any student or parent seeking for help, dial the toll-free number 24 22 87 30 for solutions.
And we take you, still on Back to School, we take you to Government Bilingual High School, Cité de Premier, here in Douala, Cameroon's economic city, where school authorities were dressed in the uniforms and information they were passing across to students on how to dress well to school. Let's have more on that with Morinde.
At first glance and even at a distance, one can take her for a student. But she's not. She is a principal of Government High School, Cité de Premier in Douala. She and her entire staff are dressed in well-stitched uniforms with hairdos that reflect the internal rules and regulations of the school. A message that automatically obliges students to conform or face sanctions. It is a tradition with our school that every back to school, we make sure the entire staff is dressed in well-stitched uniform. We want to teach by example, a way of telling the students that they need to conform to the rules and regulations of the school. School authorities have often sent students home in the past for behaviors they call alarming. Indecent dressing, they say, is one of them, which they say sometimes provoke violence within the school milieu. To the principal, adopting this strategy is only a way of defining decent dressing. Students have appreciated the entire administrative staff. They have described them as role models which they must embrace in order to excel in their studies.
Cameroon's economic city, we talk about beginners who are starting school for their very first time and how it feels to be in the school milieu. Stephanie Chin.
The look on the faces of first-timers as they begin classes this September 5 in various institutions in Douala. Some seem excited, while others are still in shock. Here at École Maternelle de Deido, some toddlers enter the classroom crying, unable to bear leaving their parents' side. Day one at school, these school children are allowed to present themselves and are given proper orientation. They listen keenly to their teachers' recommendations. Speaking to administrators of some schools in Douala, they say they have done proper arrangements to ensure a smooth school year.
We have prepared everything, the classes and the list of the children in their various classes. Before that, we had 1 month, 2 weeks of seminar. We prepared our teachers. Our teachers have written all their lesson notes for the whole school year 2022-2023.
At Lycée Bilen de Deido, students and pupils had the assembly, after which they took part in a video conference with the Minister of Secondary Education.
That both in the case of COVID-19 or in the case of strikes, it has taken President Paul Biya's political will and determination.
Security measures have been intensified in schools as forces of law and order carried out a proper check at the entrance to various institutions.
And it is that report that we wrap up this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. The French edition will be yours at 7:50 p.m. with Alain Ghislain Kanga. Up next is a special back-to-school program with Lil Piedju. I will be yours again tomorrow, same time. God's willing. Bye-bye.